Back Home Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 44 of the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm Ricky Chabrega, your host, and joining me, Derek Relaford, coming to us from a warm, balmy Arizona, while we are stuck here in a frozen tundra that is Kansas.
Freezing your heinies off.
No doubt, man. This last week has just been, just too cold for me.
What up, Michael Perry?
Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Getting in the comments early. Where is everybody watching from? We got Candace saying good evening.
Yep. Hey, Candace, how you doing? Hey, Dottie.
Dottie saying hello. Hey, why don't you go ahead and pin comments for a minute? I'm going to share this out to a few places.
Okay.
Let's look at some of these comments. Where's everybody watching from? Let us know also if this is your first time watching. Or if let us know if this is your first time watching this show. We've done 44 episodes so far, so let us know how long you've been here.
Hey, David.
Sweet. Let me get this.
I hope I said this right,
bit.
but hey, is it Sharian? I hope I said that right. Hey, Cherie. Thank you, Michael.
That's awesome.
Hey, Wichita. Yay. There's Junction City. Hello from Burlington. Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Linda from Hayesville. There's Kim from Newton. This is Amy's first time here. Thank you for joining us, Amy.
Hey, that's awesome.
And Diana Tatro Patterson. This is her second one. She's watching from Pratt.
Awesome. I love Pratt.
And it's Versa. And it says Kansas. That's good.
So this is why I know about Pratt, because
Renee Brian, Great Bend, Kansas. How you doing?
Sweet.
Hey, David.
Pratt. So I'm from Elkhart, Kansas, which is about as close to leaving Kansas as you can get. But when you go on road trips, we did it Pratt every time. So I like Pratt because it reminds me of eating fast food.
And here's Shelly, first time from Atwood, Kansas. Hey, Shelly, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Atwood.
Andrea Vine, my third time watching.
Sweet. That is awesome, everybody. That is really cool. Yeah, I like seeing the names of these towns. Some of them I've been to, some of them I haven't. I hope I get to go to all of them again sometime.
Yeah.
In my early 20s, I used to get in the car with my camera when I was living in Elkhart and just drive, 4 hours this way and just find like old buildings and just take photos and stuff, and then you get kind of busy with life. And like the last 10 years that I lived in Kansas before I moved, like I didn't do a lot of that. And like, I just enjoy, like, I love Kansas. Like I love being from there. And like, I love how I even love ghost towns. Like there's a couple of ghost towns real close to where I'm from. And like, they're just really cool, man. Like I like the landscape of Kansas. So like, I like seeing all these towns because I've driven through them before at some point.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to come through right now. No, it's too cold.
No, I'm definitely only going there in the warm months.
My weather app says it's 9 degrees. It feels like a -8.
Yeah, that's a better question. What is the temperature in the city you're watching from right now?
Dory Thorne, Nortonville. Near Atchison. No,
okay.
Near Atchison. Okay.
I've heard of Atchison.
Thank you for joining us. Is this your first time, Dory?
That's really cool. Yeah, I'm assuming most of the viewers are very chilly tonight. It's very cold in Kansas. I'm not going to tell you what the temperature is here in Phoenix, but Noreen Cook says my son Jeremy was murdered November 19th in Wichita, Kansas this year, 2020. What was Jeremy Cook? What was his name?
Yeah, Jeremy Cook. I seem to recall that one. Vanessa, I think this is her third time watching. And Dory, this is her first time.
18 degrees. Wow.
Woo, feels like 4. Michael Perry says 11 degrees. There we go. There's that one again.
Says Wichita Police Department.
Drinking myself.
Yeah, I'll send Ricky this link.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I think Ricky we might have covered this.
Might have.
Yeah, I can pull a picture, and then I'll send this to Ricky real quick, and he can read from it. But yeah, we can definitely cover a little bit of this tonight, and then next week we'll do an even more in depth look at it for sure. But I'll send that over to Ricky. Sorry to hear about your son, and hopefully. Now we'll talk about it tonight. We're going to find out if there's like any suspects or where we're at in that. But yeah, very sorry to hear about your son, and I thank you for stopping by the show.
Yeah, we'll definitely read through his here pretty soon here. Most of the time, you guys are on here near Iola. Yes, Iola.
2020 November. Okay, yeah, I found an article I sent over to Ricky.
Okay.
We will totally delve into that a little bit tonight. We'd love to cover that.
-5. Oh, yeesh.
3 degrees and where Vanessa's coming from. Okay, so yeah, this is
okay. Yeah.
We promise to try our best not to bore you tonight. We know that we are very thankful, and we do realize that there's 54 people watching that now, probably because they're freezing. They're just like, I'll just watch this. Maybe it'll keep me warm. Maybe it'll keep me warm. But Junction City -15. Oh my gosh.
Ouch. Hopefully that's the wind chill, not the actual temperature. Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Dude, how is anybody outside? You got to think about people that don't have a place to live.
Javier,
or people that are missing.
Haven't heard anything on AJ. Sure haven't, Javier.
How long ago did we cover AJ?
Last week was the updated flyer we covered.
Last week, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we will. And we will tonight. We're going to do a couple of updates on some unsolved homicides that happened in Kansas. It's a new idea we had, and how it came about was we didn't have a ton of cases tonight, and I think a lot of that has to do with it's freezing outside. So who can be missing right now? It's, unless it's like it's freezing outside. It's deadly. You can't survive outside by yourself outside.
No.
So it's deadly right now. So we didn't have a ton of people that were not accounted for this week. So I wanted to shine a light on some unsolved murders, and we usually do all the work for this show about an hour before the show airs because things move so quickly in Ricky's world.
Yeah.
I don't make any flyers until an hour before the show, and I know that they're not found because I used to do the flyers early in the week, and I would end up having to double my work a lot because a lot of people will be found, and things would change. So now we kind of do everything, crunch time, an hour before the show, we do everything. And tonight, during that hour period, Ricky investigated 2 of the 3 homicides we wanted to cover tonight. And there's actually been leaps and bounds of information that's come out on those. Yeah. Those flyers could very well use an update tonight. We're going to use that time. Ricky's going to update on everybody as far as what we know about what's the outcomes are in some of these cases. One of them tragically is still completely unsolved. But 2 outcomes that we want to go over tonight and sort of just let you know. And maybe if some of the viewers have were close to that case or followed it, maybe you can fill us in on some things too. But we do have an action-packed show for you tonight.
Yeah. Definitely. And I was looking at that article you sent me on Jeremy Cook. As soon as I saw his picture, I remember I did do a missing persons flyer for him. And right before that, he was found. So yeah. But yeah,
was that after we started doing the podcast?
Yeah, that was after. I think we might have even covered his missing flyer, I believe.
He looks very familiar.
Yeah.
That's really sad because the picture in his glasses, I remember that from the flyer, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't know that he had passed away. That's really terrible.
Yeah, it's sad that he was found deceased.
We hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to run a quick commercial that we think is very important. And then we're going to come back and cover some cases. And if you have anything you guys want us to talk about, shout it out in the comments, and we'll try our best to keep up with everybody.
Okay.
You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved Podcast.
Yes.
If you or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888.
All right. We're going to start off with David Clem Cook. And where did I put his flyer? I've got somebody down here at the bottom of my screen. There he is, missing from Amsterdam, Missouri, missing since November 18, 2008. He was 55 when he went missing. He would now be 68. He's 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. He had brown hair, but he was balding. Excuse me about my phone there. And blue eyes. He was last seen at 10. He left his job at Kansas City Power and Light Plant at 10:30 p.m. He told a friend he was going to meet somebody on the morning of November 19th and 2008 at 7 a.m. And he's not been seen since that day. Everything in his home was intact and did not appear to have been searched through. His money clip, glasses, a cap, and his cell phone, which has not been used since his disappearance, are also gone, as if he'd gone somewhere with the intention of coming back. However, his 2 pickup trucks were found parked in the usual spots on the ranch. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 55 years old. He'd now be 68. He's 6 foot tall, weighs 200 pounds, has brown hair that is balding, and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding David's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, excuse me, please call the Bates County, Missouri Sheriff's Department at 660-679-3232 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 816-822-0800 or the Crime Stoppers tip line at 816-474-8477. And see if we can't help get some answers to what happened to David. Because he definitely does need to be found.
Yeah, man. And it's I was telling you earlier, man, like, and this is, no disrespect, but I mean, and this is no disrespect, but the guy looks like a boring guy, like he just kind of goes to work, goes home, goes to church. He doesn't look like he has, it doesn't look like you'd see him in any wild places. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like just a pretty laid back guy. Yeah. And his disappearance is like, he just ups and vanishes. It's like, I would love to get somebody, because this was obviously, 12 years ago. A long time has passed. A lot of time has passed since this happened. I would love to get somebody who was close to this to let us in on a little bit of what was going on in David Clem Cook's life at the time of his disappearance. If there was any kind of financial issues, if there was any kind of, I mean, I don't understand. Like, was he abducted? Like, people just go missing? Like, I just don't, it just doesn't make sense. There has to be something that, there has to be more to the story, or this guy just like, like I said, was just vanished, like it's just I don't see this guy having like, and he's a big guy, man. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. Right. I mean, good luck taking that guy. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. This one's very, very, interesting. And I would love to know as much as we can about this. He looks like a really good guy. And, obviously a lot of people are, still looking for him, still hoping that there's hope, 68 years old, there's, that's fairly young, he could, if he is somewhere where he can be brought home safely, there's a good chance he could still be alive and all that stuff. It's just like, it's one of those things. Somebody just completely vanishes and there's like no clues. There's no reason that would make sense. Like, oh, they were into this or they were into that. And you'll be like, oh, okay, well, that can make sense. Like, I just don't see how this guy could have got himself mixed up with anything bad.
Right. Let's hopefully we can get some answers for some questions here. Hey, Noreen, how are you doing? And you are very welcome.
I don't know. I very interesting. I mean,
he just looks like, everyday hardworking common man.
Yeah, just like blue collar, just go to work every day, and that's really what he looks like to me. I just don't. I guess it just like kind of weird. It's like just strange to me that like this guy found himself in trouble somehow. It's like, and then again he's a bigger guy. 200 pounds, 6 foot tall. I mean, I don't know, man. There's a lot there that needs to be that needs to be looked at. Maybe we can have somebody come on the show and talk to us about it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm all ears on that one.
Watching from Atlanta, Georgia, Christina, thank you for joining us. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome. I like that. All right.
Okay. Tell us about Helena.
Okay. Helena Dubois. This one is an Oklahoma case, and it's pretty concerning. She went missing from Altus, Oklahoma on February 13th, 2021. She's 55, 5'2" tall, 109 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. She is a resident of the English Village Nursing Home in Altus. After a review of security footage, it was learned that she had left the facility after 9 p.m. on February 13th. Temperature was only 8 degrees above zero at the time, and she was only wearing a black and color house coat for warmth at the time. She was last seen wearing, again, a long black house coat, a gray colored t-shirt, blue jeans, and black shoes with white and colored trim. And again, she's 55 years old, 5'2", 109 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Helena's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Altus, Oklahoma Police Department immediately at 580-482-4121. And this is one of the ones that I checked on before showtime to see if there's any updates, and there haven't been any updates from the Altus Police Department. So they're still looking.
Wow.
So hopefully hopefully we can help get her found and back to a warm place. I was reading through the comments on Altus's post, and somebody had alluded to something about her meeting a guy on Facebook that was a truck driver, possibly. I'm not sure on the details on that, but I did see that comment. So I don't know if that factors into it or not. So,
and how long has she been missing?
Since February 13th, so Saturday.
Okay.
And as cold as it's been,
that's not good.
Yeah, and I hope they do find her, because it's just been way too cold this last week, and I mean, it's scary to think of what kind of outcome that could possibly, could end up being. As far as Skylar Ratzliff, I haven't heard anything on Skylar. I will have to do some checking on him and see what I can find out.
Do you have that website pulled up for Jeremy Cook?
For who?
Jeremy Cook, because I was able to put together a quick flyer. If you want to go ahead and talk about what's going on there, I'll go ahead and throw that up. Yeah,
this was an update from Wichita Police on. Let's see, the story was originally published November 23rd, 2020, so this would have been probably either that day or the next day. They say they're investigating the death of a man who was reported missing as a homicide. Police asked the public for tips leading to the location of 29-year-old Jeremy Cook of Wichita. On Monday, he was believed to be in danger. Monday afternoon, a citizen called 911 after finding a 2006 white Jeep Grand Cherokee. The last vehicle Cook was seen in the 7300 block of East Bailey. Officers found Cook inside with a fatal gunshot wound. Police said this is not a random incident, and they're saying anybody with information can call Wichita Police Department Homicide Section at 316-268-4407. The See Something, Say Something hotline at 316-519-2282, or anonymously at Crime Stoppers, which is 316-267-2111. Yep, I do remember doing his missing persons flyer, that's for sure.
I hate hearing that, man.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
And it's like, I don't know. It's like whatever this was over, it was stupid.
Yeah.
He's no longer here because of something stupid.
Right. Yeah, so hopefully we can get some, keep this out there, keep it fresh, keep people talking and get some tips and leads on that to hopefully help find out who did this to Jeremy, because they need to be found and brought to justice. And Henry, we did cover Gail's case last week, actually. There was this flyer that I did last week. We're still covering his case and keeping it out there and keeping it fresh and trying to generate some information. So thank you for
Henry,
joining us tonight.
if you ever want to talk to us, we're all ears. Because
Definitely.
with Gail's case, and this is just me speaking as Derek Relaford, not as Kansas Missing and Unsolved. The story sounds sketchy. I used to work in a facility where it was assisted living facility, and it's like, I don't know. It's a small town. He was not like an able-bodied guy. Ricky, didn't you say he had like some paralyzation on one of his sides of his body?
Yeah.
I just don't see a guy has paralyzation on a side of his body in a small town in like shorts and a t-shirt, just getting lost to the point where nobody can find him.
Right.
Like, to me, I just feel like something bad happened. I know I can't want to say that, but I feel like something foul happened.
Right.
I don't understand why Gail would just, and I have seen, people who are residents of those places take off, for a walk and stuff. But I mean, I just don't buy that story that, oh, he just, jumped over a fence and took off and we never saw him. I just don't buy that story. So Henry, if you ever want to talk, we would love to have you on the show, and you can let us know a little bit more about that story, because what's on the flyer, what we know is it just seems fishy to me. I don't really buy what they're saying. And I don't know Gail, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I'd love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he says he thinks the same thing. It is very heartbreaking. It is.
Yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, they say he's partially paralyzed, but they're saying he scaled a fence. I mean, it just, something doesn't add up.
We have this comment here. We'll get to that one next. Anything on Alexander Perez? We did cover him last week one more time.
Yeah, we did.
The listener, what is your name? Tina. Have you heard anything about Alexander? Because you're probably closer to it than we are, being in Ulysses. Have you heard anything on the street, like people saying maybe they saw him anywhere, or what's the word like in Ulysses, like when people are private messaging each other and in group chats and stuff? What's being said there? I'm curious to know, because this is another one. Ulysses it's a decent sized little town, but it's not a big town. Like, I just don't see how somebody can just not be seen for this long if they're in that town. Now, if Alexander's out of town, like, I get that, but like, if he's like, again, I just don't see how. Anytime you see somebody missing from a city, I get it. It's really easy to lose yourself in a city. I think it's really hard to go missing in a small town, because anywhere you go, you see one person, they're probably going to know who you are, and they're going to tell people, I saw them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that one, it's real. Again, I don't like this one. I don't like that. Alexander is missing from such a town that's not that big. Like that just it makes me a little worried. And I don't like that.
Right. Definitely.
But yeah, those are ones we covered. Oh yeah, we could talk privately. That's no problem. You wouldn't have to be on the air. Just curious. We'd love to learn more about it. Let's go through some of these comments that we have. What about Sasha Brooke?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, actually. As far as I know, I can't even find her on my computer. That's the crazy thing.
I see an article from Town Hall.
Yeah.
It says missing since December 16th, 2020.
Yeah, I'm finding
I
versions
found
of
your
my
flyer.
Yeah. I'm seeing it on different places, like the Missing and Taken Indigenous Facebook has got it on theirs.
I'll put your flyer up real quick, just so that we can get her picture up at least.
Yeah.
Let me get that real quick. Oh, I gotta go to my. Yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out tonight, and thank you everybody for suggesting cases. Like, this is what it's all about: us all getting together, hanging out, having coffee, and just talking about this kind of stuff. Really, really, that's what keeps these people, keeps their cases fresh. That's what keeps people talking about it. That's what gives law enforcement, promising leads and stuff is just help from the public and us talking about this kind of stuff. So definitely thank you everybody for helping out tonight and giving us tips and on cases what to cover. I'm gonna upload this flyer now. We actually covered this. We actually covered Sasha not that long ago.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
I'll need to check for updates on hers because I have not heard anything. And Tina Ochoa is actually AJ Perez's aunt.
Oh, really?
A comment that she commented.
Let me get that one up here real quick.
Yeah. Yep, and you're very welcome, Tina.
This is her aunt. She said nobody's talking.
That's what she said. Nobody's saying. She said no one's talking. Not a thing.
You know, Tina, you have that problem in small towns. You know, snitches get stitches, all that stuff, all that. Nobody likes a rat. All that. I get it in some settings, but when you're dealing with like somebody's life, I mean, really, we're gonna care about like these rules in that position, I mean, that's why Crime Stoppers exist, by the way. You just call anonymously, but it's really hard to get somebody to talk about this kind of stuff, especially in a small town because everybody knows each other,
Yeah.
Where was that last? Let me see. I was looking for that Sasha comment. There it is. Okay, I can put that up, and then I have her flyer.
Yeah.
Now it's just a couple of weeks we covered hers.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember covering it, and
it's been too long, man.
It's been
gone too long.
Yeah, she has. Yes, she has. Sorry.
Yes, pray us for all the families, everybody.
Sorry about my computer going ding ding, my phone going ding ding. I apologize.
You're right, Dennis. Ricky makes these flyers, and then they get shared hundreds and hundreds and times. And really, like Kansas Missing and Unsolved success has everything to do with the people that share the flyers.
Right.
It wouldn't be anything without the people sharing the flyers.
Definitely.
I believe you added me on Facebook last week, Michael. I believe we're friends. Sorry about the wild stuff I post.
Yeah, and I'm on your Facebook too, Michael.
We are now officially buddies. Okay, so let's why don't you tell me a bit about Kirsten? How you say it, Kirsten?
Yeah, hang on just a second here. Okay, be right there. Kirsten's.
Yeah,
that's one actually. It was done today, and actually, I'll tell you,
your daughter.
Yeah, my 14-year-old daughter. I did the saved and cropped and placed the photos, but she did all the wording to it. She did all that. I kind of oversaw it a little bit, but she's wanting to get into this, and I'm really proud of her for that. But anyway, Kirsten Crossfield Miller. She's missing from Hiawatha, Kansas since February 13th, 2021. She's 15 years old. She's 5'6" tall, 155 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. It's believed she may still be in the local Hiawatha area, or that she might be in the St. Joseph, Missouri area, as she does have a lot of family and friends in the St. Joseph area. If you have any information regarding Kirsten's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call Officer Shoemaker with the Hiawatha, Kansas Police Department, 785-742-2156, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And thank you to my daughter Sky for helping me out with that flyer tonight. I really appreciate that.
You did a great job, man.
Yeah.
Kirsten, it's freezing.
And Versa is saying, add me.
Awesome.
We'll do Versa.
You can find us on Facebook by just our names that are on the screen.
Yeah.
When you see us. We're both just on our names.
Yep.
Actually, mine is Derek Evan Relaford. But
Yeah.
Whatever.
My profile's not hard to find because my cover photo is the Kansas Missing and Unsolved banner, so my profile's not hard to find at all.
If anybody's seen Kirsten, tell her to go home. It's freezing.
Yeah, I mean, she's 15, and as cold as it's been, and I mean, come on. Kirsten, get somebody called, let them know where you are so they can come and get you so they can get you back to a warm, safe place because, I mean, you just don't need to be out in this cold. It is just
Oh.
too dangerous. Too dangerous. I mean, heck, I would, taking my dogs out so they can do their business. I mean, we're out there for 5-6 seconds and they're like pulling their paws up off the ground and laying down and not wanting to move too much. And I got to, come on, let's get you back in. Let's get you back in. My Chihuahua, I've taken to where I'm taking them out separately instead of together like I normally do. My Chihuahua, I'll carry her to a grassy spot and put her down in a grassy spot so at least she's not having to traipse through the snow and stuff to get to it.
Yeah.
And that's working out pretty good, but
it's freezing.
It is.
I'm surprised we have anybody that's not at home this week. Hey, it's freezing, people. Like, anybody in Hiawatha knows where Kirsten is hanging out. And another thing we talked about last week, anybody who has Kirsten at their house is harboring a minor, and that's not a great thing to go to jail for. So just let her go home. If I for whatever reason, and Kirsten, if you can't go, whatever reason, reach out to a teacher, a friend's parent, somebody you trust, somebody you can tell stuff to that that you're going to be okay to tell them stuff. Let them know what's going on, but this is just the wrong way to go about it, and it is freezing outside, and this is just not a good idea to not have a plan in frigid Kansas right now.
Right. I'm glad to do that, Ariel. And can I ask, are you a family member of Skylar's or just a friend of his, or? And And Ariel, I did notate your name and that you're wanting to be notified about that, so I don't forget to do that. Good gravy.
So this is one where it's somebody who's an adult, but they've still been reported missing. Tell us about William Stafford Jr.
All righty, this is William Stafford Jr. He is missing in Kansas City, Missouri. He's been missing since February 15th of 2021, so since yesterday. He's 19, 5 foot 10 inches tall, 140 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. He was last seen in the area of East 13th Street and White Avenue in Kansas City. He escaped from the hospital and still needs treatment. William should be considered dangerous and approached with caution. He was last known to be wearing a maroon coat with a hood, black pants with a red stripe. If you have any information regarding William's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or notify the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department's Missing Persons Unit at 816-234-5136. And I did notice, and looking at Kansas City, Missouri's Facebook post on William, that he he's actually been commenting on Kansas City, Missouri Police Department's post, and he's basically making light of the whole thing, basically. So, I mean, he seems to think it's childish and stuff like that. And
was he injured, or was it more of a mental thing that his hospitalization?
I'm thinking more along the lines of mental from reading some of the comments that I've read and everything.
William.
Yeah.
Listen, buddy. I take a handful of pills every morning to be a part of society. Just if you're struggling, man, just listen to the doctors, man. Nobody's saying you're 19. Nobody's going to hold you down. Nobody's going to tie you down. But if you're having any kind of issue, being the kind of person you want to be because of anything that could be considered a symptom, then go get the help, man. Like, for real. Don't wait till you're 31 like I did, and then you've done so much damage that there's just, friendships that are unrepairable. Just like the damage done to my body from not caring about myself. I mean, don't wait till you're 31 years old to try to grab the reins in your brain and try to see try to live the way you want to live. But you're a 19-year-old person. You're an adult. This is people are just worried about you, William. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to disrespect you. We're not trying to slander you or anything like that. We are just literally just passing the word on because some people are worried about you. So, I get it. I never went to a doctor either until I was 31. But I tell you what, my biggest regret in life is not going sooner. That's all I'll say. It's been a world of help dealing with mental illness with therapists, and people that know what they're talking about.
Yeah, and that's another good point. If you think you need, you're needing help, don't be afraid to talk to a therapist. Therapists can be very helpful.
Yeah.
Some people think, oh, if I see a therapist, that means I'm crazy or whatever. No, it just means you need some help and you're willing to reach out to get it.
And if you don't have, the funds for a therapist, most churches have one. You can go to, there's usually community outreach programs where they can offer therapy. There's a bunch of virtual therapy sites where you can actually get virtual therapy on a video chat. So you don't even have to leave your house, which is a huge feat for some people who deal with things like agoraphobia. Just leaving your house is a chore in its own.
Right.
So, if anybody's out there struggling mentally, you do not have to live in darkness. They have done leaps and bounds in medical, and then even just talking about stuff. And a lot of times, just talking about things can really alleviate a lot of symptoms and really help you understand things. And the best medicine I ever took was just reading about the disorders that I have, because now it's really easy for me to realize something's just a symptom and I can move on from it quickly.
Right.
But yeah, just, get some help. If maybe you don't feel like you need it, but if you're struggling at all, just go get some help, man. It's not a sign of weakness, none of that. It's just you basically, mental illness is the same thing as having a broken foot. You just go to the doctor and get it fixed. Yeah, she says she's his girlfriend.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, well, Ariel, if I hear anything, I will definitely pass that on to you. I made myself a note so I don't forget. And Dennis, what we do, it does give families hope, because there are people out here that do care and trying to help, bring answers to the families and stuff like that. So yeah, and every flyer share gets them one step closer. So, I appreciate every flyer share that we get. I do greatly appreciate, and I thank you, each and every one of you, for doing that.
So many people share those flyers, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us about Manuela.
All right, Manuela Perez. And interestingly, on her, I found hers when I was double checking to see if Alexander was still listed. That's how I found her. But she's missing from Arkansas City, Kansas since February 26th of 2019. She was 17 when she went missing. She'd be 19 now. She's 4'9", 130 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. At the time she went missing, she was considered a missing endangered runaway. It's believed that she may be in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Again, she was 17 when she went missing. She would now be 19. She's 4'9" tall, weighs 130 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Manuela's disappearance, or of her whereabouts, please call the Arkansas City, Kansas Police Department at 620-441-4444, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. Yeah, so if anybody knows anything about her, please do not hesitate to contact Arkansas City Police and let them know.
So what makes them take Atlanta? Did she take off with like a older person, or?
I wasn't actually given that information. I was just told that they believe that she's probably in Atlanta.
Okay. So, well, that makes me feel better knowing that.
Yeah.
If they think she's in Atlanta, then maybe she's there on her own accord and she's just hiding out. That's the best case now. You don't want her in Atlanta because she got taken to Atlanta,
Right.
Like 17 years old. That's a trafficking age, that's scary, and
it would be nice to know, though, if she might have been with a male acquaintance, or whether, she did it of her own accord or whatever. It'd be nice to have that little piece of information to kind of help us understand the situation a little better.
Yeah. It makes a world of difference to know, I always say, is it just we think somebody took a walk, or are we thinking that somebody grabbed them? And that's with this one, you don't know.
Well, let's just hope for, whatever the reason, that she's okay down there, and hopefully we can help get her found so they can make sure she's okay.
And a lot of times, man, when we were looking for people, there's no idea where these people are, but at least on this one, they think she's in Atlanta and stuff. So if anybody has any family in Atlanta, you might want to stop by the Kansas Missing and Unsolved page. This was shared as of the last day or two. Get that shared out in the Atlanta region. Let's bring Manuela home. She has people worried about her.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a case that was sent to my buddy who's from California. He lives in Kansas now, but he's from California, and he sent me this one.
Yeah, this is Maya Millette. I need to really look and see if there's any updates on that. But she went missing from Chula Vista, California on January 7th, 2021. And I think it's Chula Vista. I think I said that wrong. And she's 39 years old, 5'2". She weighs between 105 and 110 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen by her family on January 7th at around 5 p.m. at her home on Paseo Los Gatos in East Chula Vista, San Miguel Ranch area. Her vehicles were at her residence at the time. She has a tattoo of musical notes on her clavicle, an infinity symbol on the inside of her wrist, and a hummingbird on her back. And they are pictured at the bottom of her flyer. If you have any information regarding May's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Chula Vista, California Police Department at 619-691-5151 or the Crime Stoppers in that area at 888-580-8477. And one of the last things I did read was that her husband was no longer being cooperative with police, and I believe.
Oh God.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
Why do we do these investigations? Like, as soon as it's just like, well, I think the husband did. Let's just throw him in the jail, man. Like these guys, they think that they're like big and bad, and they're gonna kill their wives, and then they get to just be free.
Yeah.
For like a decade sometimes before they even get to court. And by the time they get to court, there's not enough evidence to convict and they just get off. And most of the time, these people get life insurance checks after these people are declared dead or missing, you know?
Yeah. From what I see, he's retained an attorney and he's no longer cooperating. So that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign, man.
And the family recently launched the Glamis Dunes, over there in California. And apparently they did not find any clues there or any answers there. So looks like they're still looking for her.
Wow.
So let's get this flyer shared far and wide so we can, help get her tracked down.
Hubby's lawyered up.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, he might have lawyered up because it's like, well, everybody knows in a situation like that, they're going to look at the spouse or the boyfriend first, and he may feel like, well, yeah, they're going to come after me first, so I'm going to make sure I've got a lawyer, or he could be potentially involved. I mean, it could go either way, really. And
I see your point, Ricky, but I just don't. I guess I'm not in that situation. But if my wife was killed and I didn't do it, and I knew I didn't do it, and like they were like badgering me about it, I would never have to call a lawyer. I'd be like, no. I was probably on my phone. I'm sure there's a record of it. I'm sure I was like reading some review about some album that came out 30 years ago. I was like, it's all on. Like, I would never lawyer up because there would be no reason to.
Right.
I didn't do anything. Good luck proving that I didn't do it. Right. Anybody that's like, well, I'm going to get a lawyer, I don't want to talk anymore. It's like, well, what are you not willing to share? Because last I heard, your wife was missing.
Right. And their vehicles are at home.
You care about what's said. Like, I would say everything. I would be like, this is this. I mean, if my wife was missing, the last thing I would be worried about is calling my lawyer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think you're right, man. I think that sounds fishy.
Yeah, it looks that way.
This one was also sent to me by a friend.
Let's hope they do find May, though. I mean,
I really do. I really do hope they find her, because
let's get her flyer shared far and wide and see if we can't help them out over there in California. But anyway, go ahead. You're saying that the next one was sent by a buddy of yours, too?
Yeah, a buddy of mine sent me this one, too, and I think there was like a big cash award. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, this one's out of Denver, not Denver, but up there in Jefferson County, Littleton, Colorado. Nick Kunzelman and Stephanie Hart Grizel. Let's see. She snuck out of her house and went to the subway located in the 6700 block of Coal Mine Avenue in Littleton to wait for her boyfriend, Nick Kunzelman, to get off of his shift. Another employee happened to drive by and saw that the lights were still on in the restaurant. The employee went inside early on the morning of February 14th and found Stephanie and Nick shot to death behind the counter. Investigators say both were shot by at least one unknown intruder. Few credible leads surfaced in the case. Investigators initially released a description of the suspect, a white male, 16 to 20 years old, about 5'7", and weighs around 150 to 170 pounds with blondish hair. Those details resulted in tips from across the country and several confessions after the murders gained national attention, but sadly none of those tips panned out. Suspicions arose that a drug ring was operating out of the Subway shop. Investigators conducted interviews in more than 50 drug cases, but no new evidence turned up. If you have any information regarding Stephanie and Nick's deaths, please call the Metro Denver Crime Stoppers at 720-913-7867, or you can submit a tip online at www.metrodenvercrimestoppers.com/anonymous tips. And just recently, Metro Denver Crime Stoppers has upped the reward to up to $100,000 for information leading to the arrest of the individual or individuals involved in Stephanie and Nick's deaths. And I was reading some interesting information on them. They went to Columbine High School, and they actually survived that massacre at Columbine, and it was like 10 months prior to when they were actually murdered. So, I mean, they survived Columbine just to meet their own. You know, that's terrible.
That is crazy, man.
Terrible.
This is, $100,000.
Yeah.
That's I might start investigating this, Ricky. It's really the same thing we were talking about earlier. It's like, how many people know exactly what happened to those two, but they'll just never say a word about it.
Yeah.
Because they're scared.
Right.
That's how all these murders are. Every unsolved homicide has 50 people that know exactly what happened that will never say a word when it's being recorded or in front of a police officer. I
mean, and whether it's the snitches get stitches thing, or they're worried about retaliation of some kind, or they've been threatened or whatever, but I'm confident that about every one of them, somebody knows something.
The messenger always gets killed in my opinion. I don't know what it is. It's just human nature, but whistleblowers don't last very long. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of it is just self-preservation. People are like, you know what? If it gets out that I'm the one that did this, and then there's also this, maybe you don't know for sure what happened, but you've heard, from very reliable sources what happened.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to go say something to an officer because what if it was just somebody just being drunk and talking?
Right.
And then you end up ruining somebody's life, and that's another thing too. I totally get why somebody would not want to report somebody if they had harmed somebody in the past, especially if it was a crime of passion and it was way out of their character. I guarantee you there's people that avoided jail time just because, people thought I don't want to see them ruin their future, which is, you find yourself feeling bad for somebody who killed somebody. It's well, you took a life. I don't know. I'd love to see something like this solved. They look like great people, and somebody decided to stop their hearts from beating. And you don't just get to do that in this country. There's $100,000 on the line right now that bets you get caught.
Yeah. Yeah, let's hopefully, again, let's get this flyer shared far and wide so we can, keep people talking about it and see if we can't, get somebody caught. As they need to be caught.
Yeah. We're going to get into some unsolved homicides. We just got into that one, which was a little bit outside of the state of Kansas, obviously. This is another unsolved homicide we want to talk about. Tell us about Colby.
Yeah, this one is still not solved as of yet. Colby Hopkins was shot in Old Town in Wichita, Kansas, and I did not put the date on the flyer when I made it. I need to go back and correct that. So the shooting happened around 2:00 in the morning as bars were closing and people were leaving. Police who were walking people to their vehicles heard multiple gunshots ring out in the 100 block of North Meade. They ran to the area where they found 2 victims. 3 gunshot victims were able to leave the scene and found officers near Rock Island. The last 2 victims took themselves to local hospitals for treatment. 7 people in total were shot. Police say it started as a fight in the street, but not all of the people who were shot were involved in the fight. Police also say some of those involved were documented gang members, but Hopkins was not. Wichita Police Chief Norman Williams believes witnesses captured cell phone video of the incident. Police are asking witnesses to contact police to help the investigation. Witnesses can call 316-268-4111 or call Wichita, Kansas Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111.
That was September 22nd of 2013.
Okay. And he was 25 years old at that time when he died. Yeah.
That sucks, man. He's just trying to go out and have a good time, enjoy his weekend.
He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Literally standing in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Definitely. So,
Over something stupid.
Yeah. So let's, again, let's keep the word out there and let's see if we can't get some answers to some questions, Again, I'm sure somebody knows something and the people may have caught it on video. I mean, of course, it's been almost 8 years, but I mean, there still might be video of it around. If so, turn it over to them. Let them see it. It might help bring somebody to justice.
Yeah. Let's skip to the last one because didn't you say that one was unsolved still? The other two we have developments on.
Which one are you wanting to skip to?
December.
Oh yeah, let's do that one. That's
okay,
fine.
We'll go to December. This is another unsolved homicide, everybody.
Yeah.
And we do have the Crime Stoppers number on the screen. We're going to start implementing that on the flyers. So while he's reading this flyer, if you know anything about this, call that number immediately.
This one's to me tragic because he was such a young man. His name was December 2. He was shot and killed. He was 15 years old. Shot and killed in Kansas City, Kansas, November 18, 2017. He was shot near 34th and Gibbs in the Argentine neighborhood of Kansas City, Kansas, at a laundromat where he worked to help support his family. He was a sophomore at J.C. Harmon High School, where he was a wrestler and a member of the choir. He was active in his church. My understanding is his family, I'm trying to remember where it was they came from. They came here to flee the country they were living in. Second here, I can get you that little tidbit information here.
No problem. We're doing it live, folks.
Yeah. He'd come to the United States from Myanmar. His family fled Myanmar to try to, have a better life here in this country. And then, he wound up being shot and killed in a laundromat. But if anybody has information regarding December's death, please call Crime Stoppers Greater Kansas City tip hotline at 816-464-8477. Tips may also be submitted electronically at kccrimestoppers.com or by downloading the Crime Stoppers mobile app, P3 Tips, on Google Play or Apple iOS stores. Information leading to an arrest and or filing charges could be eligible for up to $8,000 in reward money, and all information is kept anonymous. So if you know something, please, please, please turn it over to them so they can find out who did this to December and bring them to justice. I mean, he was a 15-year-old kid. Sophomore in high school. He's a member of the choir. He was active in his church. His family was just trying to make a better life for themselves. And, shot dead in the laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's terrible, man.
Yeah. Definitely.
Senseless violence, man.
Yeah. Looked like he was.
He should be graduating high school right now.
Yeah. Looked like he was a well-liked, young man from everything I've seen doing my research to do this flyer. So hopefully we can help bring the person that did it to justice. Let's keep this thing going and keep talking about it.
We got a new segment we're going to do this week before we end the show. We're going to talk about some developments that happened in some unsolved homicide flyers that Ricky had posted that he's going to update. But this is obviously the old flyers. Tell us first about Shonda Thompson's homicide, and then you can give us some updates on it.
Okay, I will do that. Shonda Thomas. Let me pull up the information I need here. There it is. Okay. Let me get her flyer first. Tell her we'll cover the case first, and then I'll get into the update. Okay, let's see. June 4th, 2014, police received a call around 8:10 in the morning of a person lying on a playground in the middle of Maple Hills apartment complex in Kansas City. They said there were visible signs of trauma. Police at that time did not release the cause of death, but neighbors told police they heard gunshots in the area several hours before her body was found. Police are investigating the case as a homicide. It had been previously termed as a suspicious death. And the update on this case from January 17, 2016, Freddie Price, 34, pled guilty to murder, second degree in connection with her murder. He pled guilty to murder in second degree, was sentenced to 25 years in prison. He also pled guilty to armed criminal action, violation of order of protection, and unlawful use of a weapon, all in connection with her murder. He was sentenced to 3 years on count 2, 1 year on count 3, and 4 years on count 4. All sentences will be run concurrently. And then they just basically recap the case. So therefore, the person responsible for her murder was caught and pled guilty to the charges and is currently incarcerated.
Good.
Yes. So that's always good to hear that they caught the person responsible.
35 years old and gone over something stupid.
Yeah. Yep. But I'm glad they got the person responsible for that.
Yeah, man. That's just, there's too many unsolved ones. It's good to have ones that get closed and stuff.
We covered AJ last week. We haven't heard anything new to report on him. We'll be glad to cover him again in the future down the road if we hear any developments or anything, or even just to remind people that his case is still open if it still is at some point. But, just know he hasn't been forgotten, and we will, keep reminding people. I'll keep sharing his flyer on the page, and we do hope he's found soon and safe.
Yes.
And I think same with Dana Hupper. I think we haven't covered Dana yet because we were going to wait for Kelsey to cover her. And Kelsey was going to join us tonight, but she had some things come up, and she's trying to improve her internet service a little bit so she can not have any issues with her internet when she does join us. She was telling me today that at best right now her internet is spotty, so she wants to wait until she can get a better connection. But we will be doing Dana's case as soon as Kelsey can join us because she has a lot more detail on it than I do, and I really want to involve her in covering that case. So hopefully we can bring it to you real soon.
We got one more case before we get out of here.
Yeah.
This is another one that we have. Ricky will tell you about the initial flyer, and then he'll let you know the updates.
Yep, this one, Deandre Freeman Jr. They found his body. It was found by a man walking his dog along the road near 77th Street North and Oliver in Wichita. Yeah, they found his body about 7:30 that morning. There were obvious signs of trauma to his body. They were working as a homicide. They were searching for a 90s model black Ford probe in connection. The update on his case, it kind of blew my mind when I read it. Is the first article I read across was murder charge was refiled in 2013, shooting death. And apparently they had filed charges on, let's see, I got to find his name here, Antonio Bell. And then they dropped the charges, and then they refiled them again in 2013. And then I found another article that while he was awaiting trial to face those charges, he was found unresponsive and face down in his jail cell. And they did try to do life-saving measures on him, tried to resuscitate him with CPR, but were unsuccessful. So they had a man in jail awaiting trial for murdering Deandre, and he passed while he was in custody. So I would assume they were going to be considering that a case closed type case. The sheriff's office down there in Sedgwick County stated that they were both documented gang members and they knew each other. So, and apparently Bell had been to the jail clinic, and that the staff later found him when they were making rounds. So, they didn't say why he had gone to the clinic prior to finding him unresponsive. And at the time of this article, when it came out, so the cause of death hadn't been determined, but will be thoroughly investigated by the KBI and the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
So he had been booked in.
He went to the clinic. Maybe he was feeling bad,
Yeah, he had been booked in on the charges on September 30th, 2013. So it looks like, I guess, for all intents and purposes, I guess we could consider that one a closed case. I don't know.
Yeah, I hate to hear somebody died, but
Yeah,
if he is responsible for Deandre Freeman Jr.'s death, then
yeah,
it's like I don't feel too bad. I mean, obviously I don't want anybody to die, but I didn't want Deandre to die either.
no. I don't know if there was a beef between the two because they were gang members. I don't know if they were on the same gang, different gangs, or what. But
I'm not sure.
That's tragic either way.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he? His age again was 23. 23. He was quite young.
Too early to check out, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. So, is anybody out there? If there's any cases, I like the feedback we got tonight on some of the cases that we were asked about. Are there any other ones that maybe you haven't seen on Kansas Missing yet that I need to look into or want us to recover? Or
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, let us know. Comment it down there and let us know. But yeah, I hope everybody's staying warm, and they've been doing these rolling blackouts around Kansas and other states where they're shutting power down to certain areas to try to take stress off the power grid, to try to keep a major blackout from happening. And
yeah,
fortunately, the part of town I live here in Salina, we haven't had a rolling blackout yet that I'm aware of. I haven't lost power anyway. So
yeah.
And they just started doing these yesterday. And when I got home from where I was sweating it all day at work, going, I hope they didn't do it at my apartment because of my dogs and stuff. And got home and I noticed my power hadn't been turned off, and I've been home pretty much all day and haven't noticed any power outage today yet. Right. But I've seen other people around town on other Facebook pages say, "Oh, my power's out, my power's out." And some people have had it out for up to almost like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Bill collector I was going to go to yesterday, they had closed down because she said they had been without power for like 3.5 hours at their office. So they finally said, "We're going home." So yeah, you're very welcome, Renee. Is it Renee or Renee? Hope I said it right.
Man. Well, that's a hell of a show.
Yeah. And hopefully we're getting past this Arctic blast, because that's what they're referring it to as an Arctic blast, which Arctic can keep their blasts.
Yeah, it's I'm kind of glad I'm in the desert, man. I don't miss that snow.
Yeah, I was telling Derek earlier, box that up, and he said it was like 70 or 80 degrees down there. And I said, box it up and send it up here.
I'm sweaty right now, dude. Like, it's
Really?
kind of hot in my office, yeah.
Well, I'll box up some of this teen degree weather and send it down to Arizona. Let you guys shiver it out for a while.
I think the lowest it's got since I've been here is like 32, and it was for a day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Supposed to be in the teens tomorrow, the 20s on Thursday and Friday, and upper 30s, almost 40 over the weekend. So. Yeah.
Well, that'd be good, man.
Thank you, Tina. Prayers to you, and hopefully we can help get you some answers, on Alexander, and so we'll keep sharing this flyer, and we'll revisit it again later on down the road if he hasn't been found, and we make sure we'll keep it out there for you, because I definitely want to help get him found too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Anyway, want to thank everybody for joining us for episode 44, and we will be back with you a week from Thursday, which will be, looks like, let's see, what is today? Today is the 16th. It looks like March 4th. So
nice.
Yeah, next show will be March. Wait a minute, I didn't say that right. I said that wrong.
No, it's going to be the 25th.
Yeah, February 25th. You're right. I jumped ahead 2 weeks. Sorry about that. February 25th. So, thank everybody for joining us, and you guys stay safe, stay warm.
Fall asleep, Ricky.
And if you're in Kansas or Pennsylvania or Texas, watch out for those rolling blackouts, because I've heard Pennsylvania's doing them, Texas is doing them, or other states are doing them. So anyway, stay safe, be careful, God bless, take care, and everybody have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you next week.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought in a person, the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arms. To this playful assault, to this